This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. Magazine publisher and entrepreneur Judith Mancini is sharing captivating conversations with experts in their field about the latest trends in our ever-changing world to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Judith Mancini today will spark your interest and inspire you to lead your best life ever. And now, here's Judith.
In the great beyond, where stars weave heaven's song, loved ones stand united, where souls have all gone. They bask in joy eternal, in Christ's soft embrace, sending whispers of their love through time and endless space. They harmonize with angels in a radiant Christmas choir, sending us a gift wrapped in God's celestial fire. You'll feel a light within you, a warmth so pure and clear. If you listen with your spirit, their song is all you'll hear. On earth we light the candles as snow begins to fall. Around the fire we gather, their absence felt by all. Yet in the glow of memory, their laughter softly plays, a bridge between the heavens and these earthly holidays. They harmonize with angels in a radiant Christmas choir, sending us a gift wrapped in God's celestial fire. You'll feel a light within you, a warmth so pure and clear. If you listen with your spirit, their song is all you'll hear.
Oh my gosh, I have tears in my eyes. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on Judith Mancini. Today, we have the people who put this beautiful song together and are sharing it with all of us, Jeff Bonilla and Charles Moss. It actually did bring tears to my eyes because, you know, I lost my son 3 years ago, just before Thanksgiving. So that really touched me. Thank you. I read it before, but hearing it sung and played was totally different. So all of you, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll go buy a copy of it and play it for your family and your Christmas celebrations. And the other thing I want to tell you to begin with is be grateful for everything you have and every day you have on earth before you go join your loved ones. All right, welcome to Charles Moss and Jeff Bonilla. Jeff, do I say your last name correctly? Bonilla?
I'm not real fussy about it. It's pronounced Bonilla with the
Oh, that's what I thought in the first place, but then
no,
somebody told me I was wrong. So it's Italian, isn't it?
Spanish, yeah.
Spanish. Okay.
But yeah, my family's Spanish.
So it makes sense, Bonilla. And Charles, am I pronouncing Moss correctly?
Yeah, that's a pretty easy name to pronounce.
Do you always go by Charles, or do you go by, do you go by, my tears are getting to me. Do you go by Charlie ever?
Yeah, either or.
Well, which do you prefer?
I don't really have a preference, but if my mom was still with us, she would correct everyone and said, I named him Charles. Oh. So she was particular. I'm not.
Well, see, I'm particular. I don't like Judy. I like Judith. So I get it. Well, welcome, guys. We're missing Georgie today, Georgie Donovan. She's kind of the sparkle, beautiful blonde that lifts everybody's spirits up. And she was late last night singing in a church choir. So that was exciting. And she'll be joining us probably before the end of the year, because I'd love to have you guys as guests. Something some of you may have forgotten with our guests, Jeff and Charles, is that they also write books. They're so creative and prolific in everything they're turning out. It's incredible to me. And I wish I had that, first of all, the creativity and the gumption and the energy to produce half of what you guys produce. So do you want to say anything else about this album? Is this actually a released album, or is this just one song from the album?
So it should come out sometime next week, hopefully. We're a little bit late on the release. It's just a Christmas album, and it's got some various different types of songs, but a lot of them have to do with love and relationships. And that's actually, we just kind of wrote that
Sorry.
Within the last week, I think, something like that. But it was Charles, it was his originating concept since, like you said, he's lost his mom also. And, the more I thought about it, there's a lot of people that, may not be at the Christmas table this year. And so it's just a tribute to those that we've lost and won't be with us, that are still with us in spirit.
Actually, since COVID, I mean, we lost so many during COVID and all. I'm sure this will touch a lot of people's hearts. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I actually came up with the concept a little earlier, and really was kind of predicated on, sitting around the holiday table in a little tradition I started after I lost my mom, as I always put a plate at the table for the ones that we lost. So from there, my mind started spinning that even though they're not here in body, they're here with spirit.
Absolutely.
That was kind of the motivation for the song. So I came up with the concept actually a few months ago when Georgie, kind of floated the idea, hey, we should write some Christmas songs.
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So I want to, before we get to your book that you're working on, I want to skip over and do some of the news and get your opinions on some of these things that are happening in our country right now. I'm sorry, I really teared up, and now my eyes and my nose are running away from me. So that's how touching your song is. It's wonderful. Okay, so let's start with the assassination, murder of the CEO of United Health. Are you all aware of that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Okay, so I want to go back into your past. I think when on your books and things like that, you tell people you both used to be on police force, law enforcement, and you're both retired from that now and pursuing other goals, which are really successful. So today it came out that they picked up 3 casings. Apparently they had 3 unused bullets that he pumped out when he was trying to clear the gun of some malfunction. But they also got the 3 casings that actually, the bullets that went into his body. They did pick up the casings. And I don't know, I know, Jeff, you probably haven't listened to the news this morning. I don't know if you did, Charles, or not. Written on the casings were 3 words, one on each casing: deny, defend, and depose. DEPOSE. Now, I find that very weird. First of all, I find the whole thing weird because you read one of your books that are kind of tongue-in-cheek and funny, but accurate in many ways. This guy looked to me to be a classic hitman. Now, law enforcement and senators, congressmen, mayors, everybody else is saying there are no hitmen left anywhere around, but I don't believe that. They all say, people talk about hitman when they get found out because an FBI agent or a police undercover person was sitting in a car with them when they were trying to be paying the hitman. And they say, okay, this wife was crazy. She tried to hire a hitman and instead she got an FBI agent. So this to me, because the words, well, first of all, the way he was dressed, where he tried to keep his DNA off of anything, why he was there overnight, standing on the corner waiting. Somehow somebody told him the schedule of the CEO. And then the shooter, dressed with a mask, dark clothes, covered his head, his face, except for his eyes, gloves. He escaped on an electric bike in New York. So what do you guys think, particularly since they found these 3 words etched into the casings?
What were it was deny, depose, and
I just wrote it down. Let me see. Deny, defend, and depose. But if they etched it onto a casing, wouldn't it affect the gun shooting the bullet out?
Not necessarily.
Okay. I'm kind of familiar with guns, but
well, Charles is.
Yeah, they so as so far as assassins or what have you, I did see a little news break of a conspiracy where they're trying to say that Nancy Pelosi orchestrated a hit because she may be exposed as part of a deep conspiracy with the health industry, which is kind of ironic because our book that we're coming out has to kind of deal with that. But as so far as the shell casings, some people like to leave their own little
signature.
Their little signature on the crimes. So almost like you remember the Zodiac killer back in the 70s? It kind of reminds me of kind of a Zodiac killer feel, that the person wanted to commit the act, but also wanted to leave breadcrumbs and make a political statement. Now, whether or not it's part of a deep conspiracy, I don't really have an answer to.
Well, the little blurb that I caught on the news is that there was a lot of people upset with this CEO because there's a lot of denial of coverage going on.
Yes.
Yes.
I heard that too.
So, the casing with denied makes sense. Denied, I'm going to defend whoever got denied, and I'm going to dispose of you.
Right.
That could interesting. I had not heard that, but that makes sense. I mean, could it be a real, actual, hired hit? Possibly. Could it be somebody that wanted to make it look like it was a hired hit, but it's more of a disgruntled, person?
Well, I think both.
I do. Let me just say,
go ahead.
It's really ironic because, especially with the whole Pelosi conspiracy coming out, because our next book that should be out in a couple of months, the actual plot line is that there's a hit squad within the pharma industry that's taken out holistic health practitioners. And he does this. There's a scene in it just like that, where the guy just walks up and just shoots them with a silencer right there in plain day, and there is a certain senator reminiscent of a live person.
No names.
That's behind a lot of the assassinations, because of money, because she happens to be married to a CEO of a pharmaceutical company. So
Interesting.
it's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's Terminal Hitman, State of Deception.
Oh, I love it. You used part of the same title on your second book. That's good. So here's two things that I don't think you two know about me. Well, I think you know that I had a health and nutrition magazine in the natural health industry with 1.7 million circulation, which I sold before I married my husband, or just after I married my husband. I can't remember the timing of it. And before that, when I was having my children, my daughter will be 50 in January. So this was a long time ago. She celebrated her first birthday when I was a reserve deputy sheriff in Orange County, California. So that's where I learned about guns. And the only thing they used me for that long ago was to investigate other Orange County sheriffs to see if they were taking things from the evidence room or picking up the girls on the corners, things like that. Well, I didn't like that. I was not going to go talk about my fellow officers. So I quit. But because of this and because of the training and all, and because of the natural health, holistic health, naturopathics, I can't talk today. There have been several doctors who believe in alternative health that have been killed, murdered, killed, not by suicide, or maybe they made it look like suicide. They were too young to just, every single one of them dropped dead of a heart attack. So you are right on with your book. I think it's going to be fascinating. I know you do twisty plots and things like this that kind of make you chuckle at times. Is it going to still be that kind of a book too? Kind of following with Terminal Hitman?
More so. There'll be a lot more laughs in this one, actually.
Good.
Yeah, we have somebody, it's reading it, doing some editing on it, and he thought it was going to be a typical thriller, and I said, and it's a bit of a hybrid. And afterwards, he just laughed. He goes, yeah, it's a really fun ride. Like, it's not your typical thriller. It's a fun ride. He goes, and you guys injecting humor into it is different. It's but refreshing.
Yeah, that's what I like about your books. It's fun. It's fun reading.
There's some literary rules about when you write a book, which both Jeff and I have kind of learned. It's been a learning process, and we break a lot of the rules. And we were trying to find out trying to figure out what genre this book would fall into. And we would have our friendly arguments over it. And it really doesn't fit any genre, but it's a fast read. It's a fun ride. It's humorous. It kind of fits our personalities a little bit if you really got to know us.
Yeah.
So it was a fun creation to co-write with my longtime friend, and we hope people like it and they take it for what it is. It's not War and Peace.
Look, if a woman can read it and get a chuckle out of it and look at the things that are happening and tie everything together in her mind, I think it's a winner. I love your books. I mean, I just think they're amusing, they're fun, and you learn things and you go back and you remember things from the past. And
the characters in their first one have a much bigger role. So Amy, the female character, they're almost a trio this time, and it's they're all involved. And let's just say that we're going to put a disclaimer of any character similar to anyone living or dead is just a damn shame.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a lot of characters that may resemble certain characters in real life.
So we can check this out in about 2 months, huh?
About 2 months, I think. Yeah, hopefully. We're in the last stages of getting it finished. But yeah, you could always go to Amazon and follow. I'm up there on Amazon because I've written a couple other books, so you could just click on my profile to follow me. And I think Amazon lets people know when new books come out.
I think they do too, but I'm
Yeah.
not certain. But we'll make an announcement that it's coming out next week or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's really fun. Now, as far as censorship goes, I wanted to say at the beginning of the show, and I got so teary-eyed over the wonderful, beautiful song that I forgot. We no longer will be on YouTube Live like we are on several other podcast platforms, including K4HD, which is what most people dial up or plug into their computer when they're listening. And that's because they're after me because I have used the word for when you get something stuck in your arm, if you know what I mean. So they have warned me 3 times. This 4th time, they're taking me off. And I said to one today, just don't even put me up on it. They're just trying to get me. Now, I hope by me doing that, they'll leave me alone because I have stored on YouTube lots of videos of my son playing music and doing his little shows and things like that. So I hope they won't ban me from YouTube for everything else. But I'm getting pretty darn sick of being censored with these different platforms or what have you and what's going on. I've never said anything controversial, but apparently to YouTube, they think it is. So anyway, I know what you're dealing with when you're writing a book and you're trying not to get them to come down on you. So be careful, but I like the way you're wording it, so that's good. And we'll just leave it to people's imagination to figure out who it is. So, okay. So what do you think about our state falling apart and the people who President Trump, we're going to jump back into politics a little bit here because you guys are well informed and I like your opinions. They're going through the interviews for the people that Trump has put up for different positions in his cabinet and administration. And Pete Hegseth right now is going through torture. I'm sure you remember when we were going through the process with Justice Kavanaugh, when they were having this woman tell all sorts of lies, it turns out, and she sort of apologized. I think they're trying to do the same thing to Pete Hegseth. I think it's stupid. It's just another way for the Democrats to tie things up and disparage people and ruin their reputations and all. Personally, I'm a fan of Pete Hegseth. I don't care what he did before. The woman said it was consenting sex. Now, how can you be condemning somebody for having consenting sex? I don't care if you're married, not married, any of these different sex labels people have and transgender and all that. I don't care. It's not my business. It's their business. And then to label him as having a real alcohol problem is not fair. The guy was in combat, PTSD. People come home from these long service careers and he's up there. He's been decorated, everything else. I like the man. I think he's done a lot of good. I think he's been wonderful on Fox. I think he's a straight guy. I like him. He even went to Jerusalem and did a big story on that for Fox News. What do you guys think? Or do you have an opinion? You don't have to have an opinion. I just wondered if you do.
Charles, what's your favorite tagline? Democrats are evil.
They can be for sure. Definitely, especially the outliers of the party.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, American politics has become dirty with the mudslinging and almost what's tabloidish. And both parties want to be the winners, and so there's always going to be the political side with all these nominations where they're going to try to dig up the dirty laundry to discredit somebody, almost like finger pointing. Nah, we're going to keep yours. We lost, so we're going to try to stonewall, even though picks on both sides may be beneficial to the people. So ultimately, U.S. citizens are going to lose out, because there have been good people on both sides historically that could have done the country justice, but because, like you said, their proclivities in the bedroom may not align with certain values, they either drop out or they're not confirmed. And we're just in a sad age.
Terrible. I agree.
Now, there was one pick that Trump did, I think he announced yesterday or the day before, for labor secretary, that both sides are embracing, which is kind of a breath of fresh air. She's pro-union, but she also has a very pragmatic approach to labor issues.
I missed this. Who was it?
Her name's Lori Garcia. I think she's a Republican, I believe. I think
she's pretty new into the Congress, isn't she?
Yeah, and I believe she's a Republican out of Oregon. And I was watching on even MSNBC and CNN, their pundits were praising Trump's choice, something I never thought you would hear.
No, that's amazing. Well, that's great.
I think Trump is really trying to reach across the aisle and kind of bring a unified government of varying ideologies, various personalities, unlike what the left tries to paint him as. So
I totally disagree with you.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's hear what you have to say.
Because you're being much too nice. You're not being the way you are behind the scenes and when we're talking.
Well, I don't want to give her another strike.
Oh, Charles, that's okay. I'm not on YouTube today, so it's okay.
Say it. Say it, Charles.
Come on, Charles. Give it to us.
Democrats are
evil.
Democrats
well,
are
many
evil.
of them are. They're vindictive too, and yet they're tossing vindictiveness and revenge onto Trump, which I can't see that he's doing any of that, except, he wants his charges and everything to be dropped. Why shouldn't they be dropped since Hunter Biden was pardoned? So
the whole
what do
thing
you think, Jeff, about all this?
Well, I think the system's completely rigged and needs to be, just torn down at this point. And we have a song called "The System Is Rigged," by the way, also. So it is just rigged. It's just, it's just been the last 4 years have been all about ideology, and if you don't think the way I do, then we're just going to throw you in prison, type of situation. And I think it's obvious that Trump is not playing around anymore. I know they knew that was going to happen. That's why they all, from the very beginning, started saying, well, are you going to do revenge? Are you going to go after everybody? How they started painting them with that brush. And the truth is, because we didn't, I certainly didn't vote for him just so he can go up there and play politics as usual. I voted for him so he can send people to prison, because there's a lot of freaking traitors that have done a lot of stuff that most people just trying to live their lives are not even aware of.
I know. I agree with you. It's frightening.
Yeah, but people, especially, me and Charles have been in law enforcement. We took an oath to uphold the law, and protect, citizens from all enemies, foreign and domestic. We got a lot of domestic enemies. And I'm sorry to say that, a certain party, and we know who we're talking about, doesn't see it that way, or they just ignore it. They don't care. But there's just been so much corruption, and I think it's time to end it. This take down it. Kash Patel said it perfectly. That guy's a stand-up guy, and he uncovered the whole treasonous collusion that was going on with Russia and everything else. He said day one, he puts locks on the doors of the FBI and turns it into a deep state museum. Totally. Okay. There's a lot of agencies that just need to be, completely taken down, revamped. And it's sad because not everybody at those agencies is a bad guy. I mean,
Well,
it's
I think
mostly
the
the top
basic
tier.
And that's kind of
the
the point I
people,
was trying to make.
officers, yeah, the guys who work there, the women who work there, they're just doing their job. I don't think they're into the corruption thing. Yeah, once in a while you see somebody who's a regular officer.
Problem is they're following orders.
That's right. That's just what I was getting to. Yeah,
Sorry.
I agree with you. No, well, we all think the same, so sometimes we'll say the same things. The people, the corruption at the top in everything, and here the people are against RFK Jr. And he's trying to clean things up that are killing our children, that we're the most obese country in the world. And I am guilty as anybody else. Yesterday for lunch, I had potato chips. That's what I had. Trader Joe's had these potato chips that had the taste of Thanksgiving in them. You could taste the turkey, the dressing, or the stuffing, whatever you want to call it. That was my lunch. Now here, I have been in the health industry for years, and I'm just terrible about things like that. So I think RFK Jr. is going to be very good at what he will be doing, but I worry about him being assassinated almost as much as I worry about President Trump being assassinated. Basically, because there is this faction out there who hates the Kennedys, going way back to their father, the Joseph, the founder of the Kennedy dynasty. And
they did thwart an assassination attempt on him already. It's just hasn't gotten out.
Yeah. And so I worry about him. I worry about, well, you were talking about the holistic doctors and all being shot. There's Kennedy right out there, but I hope he'll be safe. And I hope he'll get approved. I mean, they are really going after some good people, trying to not let them. And who was saying, what's her name, Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah.
Was she the one they were trying to say was having an affair with a foreign agent or something? I can't even keep up with the rumors anymore. They're absurd.
Well, there's a segment of, how do I want to put this? Politicians that do have some semblance of integrity, where I think the United States government has become a huge money laundering operation. I mean, anybody that does not see that is blind to the fact where their tax dollars are going and how deals are made with foreign countries and industries and private individuals. I mean, look at Kamala, blowing through $1.2 billion and can't account for.
What the hell did she do? Excuse my language. What did she use that money for besides putting her face on the sphere in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry. So as an old man, sometimes I forget my train of thought here. But that's where this Doge is going to be, I think, good for the country. As a matter of fact, the United Nations says that they're going to implement a Doge-like program to audit their monies.
That would be great.
Other countries are starting to wake up, saying, "Wait a minute here. The rich are getting richer, but it's not the entrepreneur rich that is always being castigated by the left. It's the corporatocracies. It's the politicians that are getting richer."
Well, you look at the.
people around
I'm
them.
sorry.
Yeah,
You
go
look at the. Sorry. You look at the net worth of some of these people who start serving in Congress and all, like Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders and all, and they had nothing to start out with. And now they have multi-millions, sometimes billions.
Yeah, AOC, when she got into it, was making what, I think 150,000 a year, and now she's worth 26 million.
Yeah,
You know,
isn't that a little strange? She couldn't
well,
even afford an apartment in Washington, D.C. She asked for people to contribute to her apartment.
yeah. Well, what people don't understand is, the billions that get sent to, the Ukraine and other places, they gets funneled back to the politicians and to their interest, and the, corporations that they're involved with. Here's a great example is just yesterday, I guess, because I saw a video, I think it was from, I don't know if it was Project Veritas or, the guy that was in head of it, and how they were talking, I think, to an FDA person undercover, and they were saying they're just trying to dump as much money as they can before Trump gets in. So they're all doing that, and and Biden just, I forget how much he just said he's donating to
Africa.
Africa, right? For
Yeah,
their
it's
natural
another
disaster.
$1 billion.
Yeah, yet they're giving nothing to the people in our country, North Carolina, and so
That's
forth.
exactly what I said. That's
What I said is
in my notes here.
yeah, the reason, and the
Made me
reason,
curious. I even posted about it on Facebook. I was so pissed.
you know why they're not giving North Carolina's the money? Because they'll actually use it and not launder it back to them.
That's right. And the same thing happened in Lahaina in Hawaii after the wave came in and the hurricane came in. It's disgusting. It truly is. Now, there are some people who have had a lot of money or family money that have gone into office. I know the Bushes had a lot of money because they owned a lot of land in Texas. Now, I don't know what George I made when he was in office. I don't know that George II made anything over the top when he was in office. I really have no idea. I don't hear that much about Republicans being on the take and suddenly becoming multimillionaires. You can say whatever you want to about Trump, but he was very well off. He's a smart businessman, and he made his money himself, not from graft. He even gave back his salary to the government, to the United States, his first term. And I sure hope he doesn't do it again. I hope he gives it to the three of us.
That works for me.
I don't know. What do you think of Doge? They went in to meet today, and Vivek did not want to be interviewed this morning, and he kept saying, I'll get back to you, I'll get back to you. I think he did the right thing. I don't think he should say anything before. What a team, Musk and Vivek.
Yeah, I love the concept of a Doge, of actually, there's some irony here. They're creating a bureau to eliminate bureaus, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Itself. But it's long overdue. There needs to be accounting. The Department of Defense, they have failed their last 7 audits.
Can you believe that? And we have no
where
weapon.
is that money going? Billions of dollars.
Well, first of all, you see that all of the weaponry and everything was left in Afghanistan.
Yes.
Billions. That was so stupid in getting our people killed. I don't know how Biden can live with himself, but it obviously sent him crazy.
But there's no.
And now we're short of weapons. We're short of ammunition and weapons, to say nothing of being short of personnel in the armed forces. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it gets back to Jeff's point. Who profits? We sell off our weapons or munitions to other countries, whether they're just or not. And the PAC funds and the lobbyists of the defense industry, grease the wheels of the politicians to give them the contracts. So the money is cyclic, and it all comes out of our taxes.
That's right.
So when you have no true accounting of where that money's going, it does create the beast. So Doge, I think, is going to be a good program. Unfortunately, Congress, who are receiving the benefits of this, grease and palm, ultimately has a say over the money and the finances.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
whether or not Doge will be effective, let's hope. Let's hope we create enough uproar with the public.
Well, there is this feeling of happiness, exuberance, everything going around the country now because we got Trump elected. And then people like Newsom come along, and his AG, whose name is Borsta, I think it is, Borsta. He's been in for 2 years. I don't know anything about him except he is with Newsom, and they want to fight and not do anything that Trump is asking the states to do. Now, he can't even see that the majority of the people in California voted Trump. What are we going to do with this guy to keep him from running for office and not get him elected, or the whole country will be like Skid Row in Los Angeles? I mean, it's horrible.
Throw some holy water on him and watch him burn up.
Yeah, exactly.
The Antichrist.
Kimberly Guilfoyle was married to him, and she is with Donald Jr. now, and has been since before Trump was elected. She divorced him.
She's never said anything bad about him, huh?
No, she hasn't. And I think she deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Newsom might have a hard time if he throws his hat in the ring for presidency. I think there's enough people in this country that hates Californians and hates the state of California enough where just the fact he's coming from this state might be a detriment to him. Now, of course, you're going to have the leftist loyalist, and that will, vote for whoever they prop up. But I think him being the governor of California is actually a little bit of a detriment this time.
Well, I think it would always be a detriment to me. I mean, he's destroyed everything. But
yeah, exactly.
This is the first time I ever remember hearing the Democrats actively talking about who they're going to put up against whomever the Republicans do. I'm assuming Vance will run for president. I could be wrong. I most likely am wrong. I don't know. They need to get their act together on who's going to go in 2028. But I lost my train of thought. I must be old too.
Well, that is if they don't get us
I think it's odd. Pardon?
If they don't get us into a nuclear war.
Oh my God. There's some intelligence, like I've been reading a lot on social media lately, the news sites on social media and all. And there was an intelligence person who came and said, we're already in a nuclear war with Russia and China. And all it takes is one spark and we're gone. Now, what is happening in South Korea is really disastrous. And that's very frightening with North Korea because we don't have enough. I think we have 30,000 troops in South Korea. That's a lot to me, but I guess it's not for a war, and we don't have too many ships over there. And then we've got Taiwan that we need to protect. And we do a lot of business with South Korea, but they're getting rid of their president or whatever he's called over there. The reason I've been watching closely is because I have a friend of my son's who they grew up through elementary school and all together. And he went over to do business over in South Korea and decided he liked it. So he stayed over there for years. And I'm quite worried about him and his family. And I want them out. I want them back here and be safe. And I got an email from him or a message on Facebook that said they were safely eating pizza with his mom. So I was happy to hear that. It's very frightening, very frightening. And they've issued warnings to Americans to get out and be very careful. So
well, Tucker Carlson is over there right now in Russia. And
I know. I saw he's doing an interview. Yeah. Do you subscribe to his site?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
And he was saying that he's found out the State Department's cut off all communications with Russia, even including back channels. It's almost like they're provoking him. They want him to do something. We don't have enough time, but at some point I would love to talk to you about remote viewing. If I know you may not be familiar with that, but I follow a certain group. It's
well, no. Do you have time to talk about it after the show?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. But sure. But what I was going to say is they've seen some things come in our future which are not good, and I think it's going to be. Let's just put it this way. I think there's probably going to be an event here in the United States within the next 4 months, and they're going to use it as what they call a false flag, and they're going to try to blame, the incoming administration or something like that. But
yeah, of course.
They want to either start a civil war or try to. I think Putin's a pretty sharp military guy, and I don't think he wants a nuclear war. So I don't
think he does either. I mean, he basically wanted to become the old Russia, the old Soviet Union, the old Russia that came up after they got rid of the czars. He wanted to be the head of it, and he wanted that grandiose country that was huge, that was the largest country over there. So I agree with you, and I don't know anything about this remote stuff that you're talking about, so I'd like to hear about it. But I have actually seen things that I mentioned earlier, this intelligence guy leaked that he thought something was going to happen too. And it's very frightening. I'm worried about my daughter and her family with the little kids, everybody else's. I'm worried about my husband who can't keep up with me running to get out of the nuclear fallout now. It's very worrying. It's very scary. I don't even know what to do because you can't really prepare for a nuclear disaster.
Well, all they have to do is just, light off one low yield nuke or dirty bomb in an urban area, right, and then declare martial law. And oops, sorry, Trump doesn't get in because now we're at war. It's real simple.
Yeah, well, that's what they did in South Korea. The current president last week declared martial law, and they came in and kind of removed him with a coup. Not as embarrassing as the one that Biden was subject to. I don't like Biden. I don't like anything he did, but what they did to him as a president and the office of presidency was disgusting. So we're running out of time, and I want to ask you guys, we have 2 minutes left. I want to ask you what you think, because we're talking about war. What do you think of all of these drones flying over the state of New Jersey, by the golf course of Trump and all? And there have been lots of them, more than a dozen. Have you been following that?
Nope, but it's in our book.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, we laughed about that the other day.
Yeah. That is funny. Well, watch the news tonight and catch up on that. I think it's really, excuse me, I'm coming undressed. I didn't have time to get dressed today. I think it's really important that everybody watch the news. Watch Fox, because I think they tell a lot of the truth. Watch CNN, because I think they don't tell a lot of the truth, but I want you to see both sides of it. I want you to watch the different other cable news stations, but also the regular networks, ABC, CBS, NBC. You'll see how little time, I'm talking to my audience, not just YouTube. I want you to see the difference in the news. I want you to see and make your mind up who you'd rather have representing you, the Republicans or the Democrats. And this talk of becoming one country and everybody getting along is not going to happen until after the inauguration, and probably not immediately after the inauguration. I think I agree with Jeff and Charles. There's going to be a lot of strife and terrible things happening. It's not going to be peaceful people going into the Capitol like on January 6th. So I do want you to pay attention to that. And I want everybody to demand our hostages come back, because I don't even think they're alive. I think they're lying to us. So I have to say goodbye now because somebody else is coming on the air following us. I can't thank you two enough for coming on with me. I hope Georgia gets back. I was going to tell everybody I'm so excited because I have joined LifeWave. I'm really excited about it. And I have a patch on. I don't know if you can see it. You tell me yes or no. On the back of me?
I can't see it. I think it might. Yeah, it's a little bit low. Oh, there it is. I see it. See a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So I have my husband wearing them. He had, this is just the first one, 39, X39, and he's been having a pain in his right shoulder. It's already gone. The pain is gone, like that crazy commercial. But this is, I'm so excited about it. And on my next shows, I'll be talking about that too. So thank you all for joining us today on Judith Mancini Today. I love you all. One thing Jeff has to say.
I just wanted to let everybody know we finally got a website up, brokenheartrebels.com. And
Okay.
that's terrific if anybody wants to go check it out.
.com.
Yeah, brokenheartrebels.com.
.com. Okay, great. I'll check it out today. Jeff, can you talk to me after we're off air?
Sure.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you, everybody. Remember, cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, and live today. Thank you.